Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm just going to click this, and here we are. So, everybody, we're back at what a lot of people consider to be a grind or new beginnings or turning pages, fresh chapters, however you want to call it. It is September 2nd, where we are on the other side of the pond. It's another day. And the reason I wanted to do this video specifically today is for many important reasons. And before I begin with the topic, I want to say welcome back and thank you so much to the LinkedIn, to the YouTube, to the Instagram, to the Twitch, and to my Facebook people. My goodness, this wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you. And thank you for growing the numbers and the interest and the comments and the exciting reactions to my little surprise ABCAST on Sunday that Fox 13 down in Tampa Bay, Orlando, and Gainesville is going to be doing a feature on me this week. Very exciting. Exciting to return to my Florida roots. A lot of people don't know I have Florida roots, but they will this week. And so before all of that, I want to say something to preface this, okay? So I have a very, very dear friend, close, important to me. And this very dear friend has a loved one who is going through something really difficult. And his name, the person going through this, who's struggling, his name is Milo. And I would like you all just to take a second. And it's not about prayers. It's not about thoughts and everything. It is positive energy. Just take a second and send positive energy. Milo, you are loved. Milo, you are safe. Will you do that for me? Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to have a sip of warming, soothing, nurturing beverage. Okay, so my topic today is that there are 3 rules. And the interesting thing about these 3 magic rules is that no one ever tells us about them. We just assume that we know them. And a long time ago, somebody pointed them out to me. And I wrote them down. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay. All right. There are 3 rules. Always, all the time, awake and asleep. And I think it's because they're always happening. They're always unfolding. People don't talk about them. They don't think about them. They don't look at them. They don't consider them. However, anytime you turn around and find yourself in a difficult position, you find yourself in a surprising position, you find yourself looking at a situation and saying, what on earth is that? What's going on? Good morning, Freddie. It's lovely to see you. So it is usually what is that, what's going on, is usually the product of one of the 3 rules that has, I'm not going to suggest that people break them. How can you break a rule if you don't know it's there? What I'm going to say is I'm going to suggest that these rules are the fundamental ebb and flow, the energy, the how we do this together. Unless we are hermits and we live on an island and there are no other creatures of any kind, in which case it would be a short existence, then really the freedom to swing our fist continuously and constantly comes up against the challenge of someone else's nose. The freedom to swing our fist stops at some point. You don't have carte blanche. None of us do. And this is part of these, I'm sorry, just, sometimes you get a little loose hair and it bugs you. Okay. So I wrote it all down because it's been kind of a stressful morning. Here, go over there. Here. Sorry. It's been a stressful morning and I wanted to write it down because I didn't want to forget anything. And I have these huge notebooks. I have, I don't know, hundreds of them full of notes all the time. So this is what I wanted to say. Rule number 1, always rule number 1. In fact, it begins with the word first. First, do no harm. Now, the reason I say that and the reason I pause to let you hear those words and let those words sink in is this. Joy and love flow where it's safe, where there is no harm. Quality of life exists, flourishes, where there is no harm, where there is no anger, where there is no cruelty, where there is no callous disregard, where there is no disrespect, where it's common decency. And by common, I mean as opposed to uncommon, as opposed to extraordinary. I mean just basic courtesy, nothing fancy. First, do no harm. Whether it's go out of your way to do it or don't care enough to stop doing it, don't do it. Do not cause harm. It's pretty simple. And if the response to that is, well, it doesn't hurt me, that's the harm right there, because you're not alone. You're not an island. You're not a hermit. We are interacting all the time. Our molecules are exchanging messages and energy with each other. And if we cause chaos, we receive chaos. What's that old expression? Reap what you sow. If you cause harm, if you sow harm, you get harm. That's how it works. It's not woohoo. It's physics. Boom, boom. That's the first rule. Where do we see it happening? We see it happening when people get caught up in their own agenda to the extent that they forget that there are other people involved. They forget that there were people who got them where they are. They forget that people are counting on them. They forget that people who have less than are looking too for leadership, for safety, for connection. Connect, engage, transform. You cannot do any of those three if you also feel you have carte blanche to cause harm. That's rule number one. Rule number two, play no games. I'm not talking football. These are the kinds of games you don't play. The kinds of games you don't play. Good morning, Michael. It's lovely to see you. The kinds of games you don't play are the hurtful ones. And here's a rule of thumb. Grown women don't play games. Grown men don't tolerate them. If you are a game player, you have not grown up. You are still in your formative, emotionally insecure years. If you notice that people are playing games, that is where they are. If they are still there at an advanced age, that is where they stay. Unless something transformative happens to them, somehow, some way, they connect, engage, and transform. Then games are more fun because they don't count. When you play games, what you do is you push away the work you're here to do. You put other things first. It's empty, toxic, cheese doodle behavior. It achieves nothing. Have you ever, in a car, found yourself in kind of mud, gooey mud, or ice, and you try, and the car won't move? You know what happens if you jam your foot on the accelerator? Nothing. The wheels just spin and they go, "Woo!" Why? Because they can't get traction. They can't get a grip, and they can't move forward, and they can't create, navigate, or leverage change. They stay exactly where they are. And why does anybody want to do that? Because there is where they have no responsibility. There is where everything is easy because it's familiar. There is where they can distract people from what is important and keep everybody from noticing that they aren't pulling their weight. So rule number 1 is first, do no harm. Rule number 2 is play no games. You have no idea how long you're here. I heard a wonderful conversation the other day. A fellow was saying that he and his wife had a fight and he was going to deal with it when he got home. And this other fellow, I heard him say, "Who told you that?" "What? Who told you you'd ever make it home? Call her now." "Who said you're going to make it home? Was that promised to you? You've got it in writing? Call her now." We get complacent, we get comfortable, and we get thinking, even though we know we're mortal, we get thinking that we've got all the time in the world. We can stall, we can invest our energies in doing pointless stuff because we've got all the time in the world. We can scroll our way through a day. We can ignore the person we went out to dinner with by checking to see who might be on some device in our hand. And we don't get those moments back. We get new moments, but we don't get that moment back. We don't get the moment back to tell somebody we love them. We don't get the moment back to say, "I'm sorry." We don't get the moment back to say, "You're safe with me." Because for every game you play, the less safe anybody is, including you. So that's rule number 2. And rule number 3, I mentioned it already. Stop stalling. Whatever it is you need to do, whatever it is you see as value add to you, begin now. Make a plan, even if all it is you pick up a weapon of mass construction and you write down next and put that beside it. I'm doing this next. And don't move it down the list. And by the way, I'm guilty of it as much as anybody. I make lists and I move things around and I shift because other things become a priority. Because I decide they become a priority. And yes, I stall. Yes, I scroll. Yes, I look longingly at a tidy, clean closet that I can only see in my head and keep the door closed on the real one. The other day, I cleaned out my closet. What a revelation that was. So, why I'm telling all of this to you today is because this is a new beginning. This is September. We are back at it. Whether you plan your life around milestones like back to school or back to work or back to winter clothes or close the cottage or whatever it is, this is one of those. Do it every Monday, do it every Sunday, do whatever rotational thing, do it every morning. Every morning, the first thing I do when I open my eyes and I realize I'm still here is I say thank you. I was in an accident when I was 18. I wasn't expected to make it. I've had some bonus years. Every day is a bonus day. Every day is a bonus day. And every one of yours is a bonus day. I remember having a conversation with someone not that long ago who was grumping and complaining about everything. And I said, could I just interject here? "Oh, sure, you're probably going to anyway." And I said, "So it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. You're driving this vintage car that is your dream car. You have me beside you and we are going someplace wonderful that we've been looking forward to. Right? Yeah. What else is it going to take for you to be grateful for this day?" "What are you talking about?" I said, "You're not grateful. You're complaining. As though somebody owes you something. You have more than 99% of the world right here, right now. Exactly how much more did you think you deserved in order to say thank you? And not to me. Thank you to the universe." He didn't say anything. We got to the destination. We got out of the car and he said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "Thank you. Now tell the universe." And he said, yeah, you're right. Sorry. And I said, go ahead, walk ahead of me. Give yourself time to say thank you to the universe. I have no idea if he did. We all fall into that. We all feel sorry for ourselves for some small reason. And then if we catch ourselves and we say first world problem, we still need to apologize for sending out that kvetchy, empty, needy, lack-filled energy that permeates everything. Energy is connected. We are connected. My incredibly important to me friend is sharing love and connection and safe energy with his loved one today and yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And there have been 2 hospital visits that I was honored to be able to be part of. This is not unique. Please don't send energy of condolences to me. This is not a sorrow moment. This is a joy moment. This is a love, and you are safe. You are loved, Milo, and you are safe. And we are all here with you. That's what I am asking you to step into today during this video 389. I am asking us to add a rule to the 3 magic rules. First plus 1, give love, give sanctuary, give thanks, and share to everyone who needs it on a regular basis. Sending love and safety and sanctuary to everyone who needs it is a great way to start the day. Because by doing it, we're including us. And we all need it. As if we didn't need to look around. Actually, Freddie, you're absolutely right. First do no harm is part of the Hippocratic Oath. You're absolutely right. And for good reason. A lot of things have to be done in order to prolong health, to trigger health, and some of them are unpleasant. And so it can be painful, it can be excruciating, it can be exhausting. The intention has to be no harm. The intention has to be no ruthless. The intention has to be no selfish. Now, by the way, also first do no harm to ourselves. We cannot sacrifice us for others. We can invest us in others. Therefore, the trying to sacrifice is a waste of energy because it does not solve anything. It feels like something from us. It doesn't get received. All we need to do is send it out. Milo, you are safe and you are loved. And that's it. And Milo and all of the energies around him will do the rest. And we just hope he's on that path. So when I began this video today, on this beginning of September after the holiday, cheers. I told you briefly that I've been approached by, it's Fox. The channel is Fox 13, and they broadcast Fox Television News, and they broadcast out of Tampa Bay, and they have an affiliate in Orlando and in Gainesville. And the interesting synchronicities are that I went to, for about 15 minutes, I went to Miami-Dade Junior College when we got back from Europe. Went for about 15 minutes until we all discovered that the college was using my 10th grade textbooks, my 10th grade Canadian textbook. So it's not exactly that I was cheating that I got on the dean's list. However, really. So, so everybody agreed that it was a waste of my time and money to be there. And so I moved on. However, we ended up in Florida because I had my dad and my mom and I went to Florida every winter for a month when I was a child before we went to Europe. And because he hated shoveling snow. And he said, if I'm on vacation, I'm going where there's no snow. And we started doing that. I think I was 7 years old the first time. We would go for a month in the winter. He would pull me out of school and take my books, and I would do my homework, and he would keep me on track, and I'd come back ahead and so on. Anyway, on one of the visits, just before we left for Europe, I was starting to look like a girl. I wasn't quite old enough. You know how we go through kind of a larva stage in our transition from child to teen, whatever it is. I kind of went through that. Well, I had just come out the other side. Just come out the other side of looking remarkably unfortunate when we went down for our vacation, and I met a boy, and he was the bag boy at the grocery store, because we would go and stay for a month and live in an apartment and live like normal people. He was the bag boy, and he was so handsome. Anyway, never saw him again. That's not the point. The point is, you're ready for an extraordinary full circle. When I joined the cast of You Can't Do It on Television, and I said to Les Lye, the actor playing Dad, so what's Senator Prevert's first name? And then Les said he doesn't have one. He's Dad or Senator Prevert. And I said, well, he has to have a first name. What am I going to call him? And he said, well, that's a good point. Well, if you want to call me something, you might as well come up with a name. Do you have a name? And I said, I will in a minute. So I had a very scattered, flaky, lovely friend in college whose name was Valerie. So that was easy. Valerie Prevert. What's that, dear? But the name I chose for Les Lye's character, Dad, Senator Prevert, the first name I chose was the name of that bag boy down in Florida. And he was so handsome, and Les's character was so not. I thought, so I didn't tell anybody, but we were doing a sketch, and we had rehearsed it, and we were shooting it, and Dad's character walked in, and he said, Valerie, and I looked up and I said, yes, Lance. And there was a moment of complete silence, and then the entire crew, on the floor, all the camera, lighting, sound people, the entire population in the control room, and Les lost it, like en masse. It was just blink and then dissolved. Les said, Lance? And I said, I don't know. I thought it fit. And it did. So I lived on and off, on and off, on and off in Miami, in Coral Gables. I went to college briefly in Coral Gables. I dated someone for 15 seconds in Coral Gables, Florida, Miami, Florida. It is through the military that we came and went. It is through the military that Nickelodeon got You Can't Do It on Television worldwide on the U.S. Armed Forces Network. It's Orlando where they had their place where you could go and get slimed. And now, all these decades later, I'm going to be featured. Oh, and by the way, my first stage show, the first show I ever wrote, I took a month off, and I took a bus, and I went to Tampa, Florida, where it was warm because it was freezing everything up north. And I sequestered myself in a cheap motel by the water, and I wrote my first stage play there, and I took the bus home, and I worked on it. I showed it to nobody, and I staged it that fall, and that show got me my first television series. So me in Florida, we're like this all the way through my life. How about that? And now I'm going to be able to tell that story to Eric Cups when we do our feature on Abby Mom this week. Now he's going to air it. He's going to have to edit it and put it together. And then we will figure out when it airs. So I don't know when it airs, but he is interviewing me this Wednesday. So how beautiful is first full circle? How beautiful is first do no harm? How beautiful is pay attention. Pay attention. Because when you break it, you can't get it back. It's never the same. There's always a crack. And that's all I'm going to do today. I know it's really short. I'm waiting for a phone call to see if there's anything I can do to contribute to Milo and to the people who love him. So I will be back Thursday, 10 o'clock, Abby time, to continue this conversation. Just remember, as we go into this new chapter, this new, all right, we're back at it, approach it consciously. You don't have to be Mother Teresa. Just choose to care. Choose to respect. Choose to contribute. And it'll all work out beautifully. Is that fair? I hope so. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for allowing me to share the private stuff with you. Thank you for listening to the 3 magic rules. Thank you for choosing to follow them. Be good to you. You deserve it. Remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. Your participation in this means everything. Everything. It would not be what it is turning out to be without you. You know that, right? I hope you know that. Okay. I'm going to sign off now. I'll catch you next time.